Welcome. So you missed the Cabras rugby team.
I did.
So off the bat, I'm not a sports buff.
Yeah.
Although I'm a huge fan of Arsenal. That's it. I used to play actually, no, what am I saying? I used to be a basketball coach, actually.
Okay,
I played in school. I was a captain in school. I coached him in a school called Matuga Girls back in the day. But that's it. However, we focused on how to prepare for the game mentally. How to use losses to then strengthen what does it mean to lose, all that kind of thing. And the reason why, I asked you to come is really because of the issue of mental health. But first things first, I'll go to just so that my listener can know who you are. So tell me about yourself. I know about you, but just for the benefit of my listener.
Thank you, Jimmy. First of all, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've been knowing you since I was a small boy.
Oh my goodness!
So it's a big pleasure to be here with you. My name is Ogoti. I'm a medical doctor, completing my residency in psychiatry.
Well done.
Very interesting field. I also dabble in public health, so just trying to bring medicine from the hospital space into the community.
Right.
Prevention is better than cure. That's what we say. So we really are trying to push that agenda of prevention, health promotion, and just to help guys understand that health is not someone else's business, it's yours, so take action.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then apart from that, in relation to that, I convene the public health committee of the Kenya Medical Association.
Well done.
So we try to do that on a larger scale. And I also happen to sit on the Tobacco Control Board, the National Tobacco Control Board. Yeah.
Well done.
Asante.
Mental health. So
mental health.
I started off the show saying that there's no shame in seeking professional help. And the reason why I said that is because I thought it was shameful back in the day until I got to a situation where I needed professional help. Because, all my friends could tell me, Mazi Jimmy Izajo, Mazi Pole. That's it. But no one could tell me, is this normal?
Yeah.
Is this, are people like this? Is it how life is? And so a neighbor of mine said, you know what, dude, let me just call a friend. And I've never regretted it, completely unpacked what was happening in my life. And then somebody texted me and told me, Jimmy, my problem is not shame. It's the fear of being told I'm nuts.
Yeah.
So, Daktari, tell me, the benefits of seeking professional help, especially mental health, yes.
In 2020, there's a report, 2019-2020, there's a report that was presented by a group, I'm forgetting what they're called, but led by Dr. Frank Njenga.
Yes.
They'd been commissioned by the president to just do a survey of the status of mental health in Kenya. And what they found was about 1 in 4. 1 in 4. This is a public report, it's online, so it's not something that I have in my house.
1 in 4.
1 in 4 suffer from some type of mental, not illness, but disturbance.
Yes. That's important. Not.
So it's a lot.
Yes.
How many are we? I
1 in 4.
50. If you're talking about 50 million, maybe over the course of our lifetime, we're talking about 12 million people. So that's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And so it doesn't have to be over the top, because that's the thing that causes so much stigma.
Yes.
So much fear.
Yes.
It's when you see maybe someone who's on the streets, they're homeless, they collect garbage, maybe they're violent, they've been chained. These stories that we're seeing in Kisumu of people being locked in a house and being whipped. So it's those extreme cases that people think is
that's how it
mental
looks like.
illness.
Yes.
But that's not all what it is. For so many people, whether they know or they don't know, they are battling some form of illness. So they just might have symptoms that they don't really understand, that are not overt, but they're there.
Lack of sleep. Lethargic.
Being irritable. Being frustrated. A lot of people are hiding in alcohol, bang, miraa, and cigarettes. The So there's a very good contribution of that as the underlying problem to substance use. So these catching pints that you think is just some people are hiding inside it. Wanajitibu. When you're feeling down, when you're feeling low, if you use cigarettes, use a bit of alcohol, gives you a boost, you think, I feel better. So you make that a habit. So you're self-medicating. But the substances you're using to self-medicate are not the best. So they harm you.
I see what you mean. So benefits. Just by that first answer, I can tell the benefits of. But just for the sake of the listener, what comes first when one seeks professional help? I mean, which part of that bit does the unpacking happen?
So even before you seek mental help, because for most, let me say most, I don't have numbers,
yes,
but I know most.
Yes.
Even if they knew they had a problem, they wouldn't seek help.
Yeah, true. True. And yeah,
Even at the facility where I see patients, courtesy of my residency, Mathare, the National Teaching Hospital, even when you see patients there, many of them don't come back for revisits. They know they're unwell. They might be on medication, but they don't always come back for revisits.
Why?
Because it's not easy. When you ask people to get psychosocial help, see a psychologist, see a counselor, for that kind of service, not for medication, but for that, the talk therapy.
Yes, the talk therapy, yes.
People don't want that. It's very, it leaves people very vulnerable. People don't like that. So it's very, very difficult. And more especially for men.
Yes.
It's much worse.
Something you've said that's powerful there in terms of it's not medicine. I mean, it doesn't always resort to you being told,
Absolutely.
It's more the talking. That's the unpacking. Talk more about that in terms of when does the bit of the medicine come? Is it when it is now confirmed that you need some sort of medicinal help? Or where does that come?
So let me take you back a bit. When you're talking about mental health, we're not talking about, first of all, mental health and mental illness is not
two
the same
different things.
thing. It's not the same thing.
Yes.
It's not the same thing.
No.
Yes. Illness diagnosed using certain criteria and managed in a certain way.
Right.
Mental health is when you can cope with stress. Stress za maisha. Can you cope with them? There are guys who can't cope with kawaida things. Can you cope with
bila
stress?
Pombe, bila fegi, bila nini. You can cope with it.
You can cope. Your abilities. As a person, we all have abilities.
Yes.
So can you recognize them and use them? There are people who feel they have certain abilities, but they feel they're not at that level. They feel like they are insufficient. You get? So this, because, for example, a condition like depression, it's a very negative view of self. That's one of the three. Very negative view of self. So it's not the reality. The reality is you're able, but what you think is you're not able.
What drives that though? What makes someone think?
Now that's a symptom of the illness. So your abilities, you have them. Do you recognize them? Can you use them? Can you work well? See, like you at work, I'm at work. Can you work well as you'd want to? Maybe if you're in school, can you learn comfortably? Go to school, be productive, And then lastly, what's the last thing? Contribute positively to the society. So if you can't do all those things,
it's a problem.
If you feel like one of those areas is not quite, needs a bit of help, then there's a problem. That's where it begins. So of course it just escalates. So when it gets to a point where your social and occupational function are severely impaired, you cannot perform, courtesy of the things I mentioned earlier, then we begin to say that in addition to other symptoms, then now you might meet the criteria for a certain mental illness, so that can be diagnosed. But if it hasn't gotten to the point where you're completely occupationally dysfunctional or socially dysfunctional, then you might just be sour. So most people are just sour. But when it gets to that point when they're not sour, when they're totally dysfunctional, that's when they come to hospital.
I see. But is it okay then if so let's just talk about like you've said, I don't know whether to qualify it as pressures of life.
Yeah.
And those questions of, reality checks in. So you lose a job. And all of a sudden your income, your ability to provide, disappears. People who you thought are your friends are the ones who are mocking you and not there for you. That it gets to a man. I guess to every man or woman, but I'm talking about a man for now for obvious reasons. So you're not able to work because there isn't anything to earn, and you go look for jobs. You can't get jobs. It's frustrating. At that point, can one say you need then to seek professional help to help you navigate through that, or you're still able to cope? Is that's not a red flag yet?
Let's say it's maybe step one. So there's a problem. So you recognize, and we must all recognize that these things don't happen to certain people.
No.
It can happen to anyone. You don't know when. So when you have positive coping skills, mechanisms, ways to address the ups and downs of life, it's better. But now when you say your social support has checked out,
yes,
you are not able to maybe take care of yourself, and like life has changed, then your social support checks out,
right?
Then you have a problem, because that's a big adjustment to make by yourself. So then you might need a bit of propping up. So who's to prop you up? It could be your family,
yes,
to just support you.
Right.
Guys, 90% of guys might check out. Someone 10%, someone 1-2 people, they smama with you. If you feel like this person is not very qualified, then you might resort to
professional
psychosocial support.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be. There's a lot of skills, because one of the things that a psychologist, a counselor will support you with is just give you coping skills. Because sometimes your coping skills are very
weak or non-existent.
And when you use them, they're inappropriate.
I see.
And they are more destructive than they're.
I see what you mean. Yes.
Constructive. So that's the beauty of getting professional help. Because they understand, they know,
I know what you mean.
You can ask me to help you carry a 10 kg bag, but I might not know how. But if you get someone who knows how, you just come and do
it.
And you're
exactly.
like, So
well done,
those are the benefits of the professional. But it doesn't have to be that. Social support is the most important thing. It comes before everything else. If you have social support, and for most men, it's actually their partner who provides that social support.
Yes.
In those times, it's very important. If you don't have that, you begin to have a problem. Because you can't go home with the counselor.
No.
They're not with you all the time.
Final question. How much of it is societal, is culture, is how we're raised? How much of it is, you're smiling. How much is it is born out of that? The inability of men and women to think, you know what, since especially if my social support has disappeared, what you to for professional help? How much of that is the inability to think like that is cultural, societal?
I'd say most of it, because yes, the truth is most of us do not understand mental health, mental illness. That's a given, and that's why I'm here.
That's right.
That's why you want to have shows like this, so that people can understand.
Yes. Demystify it. Yes.
Demystify. But the way our culture, it's not just our culture, even in the West, I think it's the way men have been cultured over generations.
Yes.
Is to be very stoic. Exactly. Be very stoic. Soldier-like.
Yeah, exactly.
For the female gender, maybe they're allowed to be more emotionally expressive. For us, it's
not manly.
Makes it very difficult for men to seek help. And not even from professionals. Remember, I spoke about social support.
Even from social support.
Even from your best friend. You'll be there with him every day. You will catch the Arsenal game, watch rugby, watch F1.
But because I think also there's that fear of Ujamatani
he'll out you.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. Because as men, as all of us, we all think like that. Don't be soft, be hard. But then there are times when things are hard. So that time, you need someone soft. We can't always be soft. We can't always be hard. But there are times when, that balance.
I know what you mean, yeah.
That balance.
Yeah.
It's very
Fungua roho too.
Fungua roho. At least to someone.
To someone, yes.
But
someone you trust.
But this, our boys club, we spend time, we drink together. You see someone is...
someone alijiangusha ama alijinyonga.
How? But you see, it's because you say, guys, your boy will never give you 1,000 bob, but
he will buy
you points for 10 Gs. But 1,000 bob, that's where you need help. So they'll help you in ways you might not need help, but the way in which you need help, they won't help. And even when they know, probably find ways to diss you, things like those. But so for me, for men,
words of advice,
we need to support each other. Si ndio shida.
Because that's where it starts, not professional.
No.
You have to have that. So basi kama una best yako ambaye you can tell. Ama ameshajifungua roho, don't laugh, help.
Yeah.
Advise him actually even to just go and seek
the help. It's step one, because it's not easy for someone. It's not easy for me to wake up. Go. First of all, counselors are not everywhere and they're not cheap.
Yeah.
So you need to go and pay maybe 2,000-3,000 to speak to someone. For some people who are below 25, Kenyatta Hospital has a youth center and it's free, absolutely free.
Wow.
0 for people who are below 25. If you're over 25, you can come to Mathare. Consultation of 200, psychosocial services they charge 500 per session. If you feel like you can see a private counselor, 2,000-3,000. But before you go there, it takes a lot of confidence to go to an office and start telling someone your personal life. Yeah. So talk to the person who's there with you. So two, you need to hang out with people, engage in constructive pursuits. You don't just hang out with people in the club. There's a show I was watching, a podcast.
Yeah.
I forget what Neville and I think...
Yeah.
I forget what the name is.
Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're talking about how have you ever just called your boy and said, let's have lunch? Let's sit and eat lunch. Not pints.
Tukule lunch. John kubaye nyama.
Not a game.
Oh, wow.
Just have lunch. The ladies will have lunch.
Yes.
And just talk. When is the last time you called you to have lunch?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so as men, there are many things that are burdening us, but we need to start there.
Dr. Leon.
It's a challenge for me as well, but that's where I'm starting, to have that person who you can trust to that extent.
Dr. Leon Ogoti, thank you. What? You must come. So we're going to have you again next week. I don't know if you know that, but I'm just
next week. Sato.
Yes. I know this is a mental health month, and it is important for us to unpack all this mysteries about it. Powerful thing is, it starts with your social support. It has to start there, because you can't easily jump to professional help.
It's not easy.
It's not easy, and it's your guys who tell you, "Manzi brother, able to end up,"
Yeah.
So you have to come and continue unpacking this again. Yeah,
absolutely.
Listen, he'll be back next week on Saturday. Forward your questions to me at SpiceFM. Hashtag is Jimmy Gatho Live. What more would you like to know about mental health? And any specific questions to Dr. Leon Ogoti will be back again next week to chat with us here on 94.4. It is SpiceFM.